Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am actually really excited. I kind of am stepping away from fantasy and back into my thriller when I kind of like first started reading again, and then I just kind of like got into like this like obsession with fantasy for a tiny bit. But if it wasn't for my friend, I would probably still be in my deep dive fantasy. But me and her are reading The Silent Patient. This has been on my bookshelf for a good minute now, and I'm really excited to start reading it. So me and her are reading this. I am on, what chapter am I on? Because I started listening to the audiobook because I had to leave my house. Oh, I'm on chapter 5. So I'm like, I have 3 more minutes of chapter 5. So yeah, for this book week is thriller. So I'm reading The Silent Patient now, so this is going to be my first one. And then my second read is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I've never heard of this. I've never heard anyone talk about this, so I'm very interesting. But to me, these two books kind of like correlate into like what happened, if that makes sense. Because this book is about Alyssa, and that's her name? My bad. Alyssa. And it's told from a different POV. This is first person POV. And when I was like reading this, I was like, what POV is this in? Like, who's telling the story? Because it's not Alyssa. It's not her point of view. It's not her dead husband's point of view. So I'm like, whose point of view is this? And I realized it is Theo. And honestly, that makes like everything so much better. It's not Alyssa's point of view. It's not some random, it's some random guy's point of view, but it's not the dead husband's point of view. It's someone kind of like trying to figure her out. And that's what, as readers, we're trying to do, is trying to figure out what happened to, X, Y, and Z when thriller. So I love that. That's when I saw it was in Theo's POV and not Alyssa's point of view. I was like, okay, me and you, Theo, we're gonna go on this adventure together to find out what happened, what really happened, what made her so silent that she couldn't even talk about how her husband died. So I was like, oh, I don't know why that right there like really made me happy. That right there made me feel like I was a part of the book and I'm following along with the book with it, and it made everything like chef's kiss, and I love it. You kind of get the idea of what happened to Alyssa. Like you kind of like go through like the basics of her trial, how her husband was basically tangled in a chair, shot in the face, and Alyssa was sitting next to the gun in distress in a white dress, kind of to tell you that what happened in that scenario before like you kind of follow along of what really is said in the book. So I like that kind of was like an eye catcher. So I really am enjoying this. The front cover kind of like freaked me out because it's when you really look at it, it's like a woman's face, but it's kind of creepy. That's why I kind of avoided this book. I am on part 2, chapter 16, and there is a lot going on. I just started chapter 16, so I don't know much about it, but I don't want to give too much away. I feel like thriller books is something that you just kind of have to like go into blindly. But I will say this, Theo did meet Alyssa. I want to call her Alyssa, but they have like a very, very proper accent, and I can't say it. Theo's like not giving up. So the director of the rehab center is like, you have 6 weeks to do whatever you want, I guess, and kind of like, okay. I feel like this is gonna play a big part, not him kind of like, doing a little bit of, weed. I feel like, oh, I forgot her name. And he says that Theo's wife cheats. That's kind of like how, Theo finds like some emails back and forth with some, I forget what is bad boy 225 or something like that, like emails between like some are sexual, some are not, some are flirty, some are not. She's cheating on him, and he finds out and was like, what the heck? And he's like freaking out about, I mean who wouldn't? That is just what I got so far. I don't want to spoil too much of this book. I heard the ending is a plot twist. That's why everyone's like freaks out about is the end. I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't mention Theo's wife cheating if it didn't involve something. I don't know. Maybe his life is messed up too. I don't know. I am on part 4 of chapter 4 in The Silent Patient. So I am almost done with this book. I think I might have like 100 something pages left. And that is it. Maybe less. Maybe less than 100 pages left. So I could probably finish this by tonight, which is really exciting, so I can move on to this book and read this. But I have to head out in an hour. Still got things to do, but I really wanted to update this real quick. And I really kind of want to make this like a no spoilers video, but I realize I suck at that, so I'm gonna try my best. So warning, I should have gave y'all a warning like a while ago, but that's fine. So far what I've gathered is Theo is literally talking to every single family member, every single friend he can like encounter who knew Alicia, and just kind of be like, she's not talking, so what about you tell me about her? But what I realized is from Alicia's journal, from what Theo asks and like talks about, it's like two completely different things. Alicia finally gave Theo her journal. She's like, read it, but she's like, and he's just like, you want me to take it? And she's just like being like silent, just like, here, just take it. And he finally read it. He said it's like all kind of like here, there, everywhere, like it's like scribbled, and just kind of like you really have to like focus on the journal. But he got to read it, he finally understood, he finally figures out who this mystery doctor is, and guess who it is? It's the doctor that works at this clinic and is in charge of Alicia's meds. I feel like part 4 is going to be very interesting. He's going to piss off a lot of people. Max, I don't like it. Max is Gabriel's brother, and Gabriel is Alicia's husband, ex-husband, dead husband. And Max is just like on another, I don't know, I feel like he's abusive. I finished The Silent Patient and I give this a 4 stars. I kind of like expected kind of what to happen like midway through it, but it was still a really good book. It was a retelling of like his point of view and like her point of view, so it was like, it was nice to kind of like see that without having like 2 POVs, which was really interesting and really nice. I guess that Theo and his wife, they're still together. I would think they would divorce. I thought he divorced by then, by the end of the book, but he didn't. So there's that. And yeah, it was a really good book. I can see why. It has over 4 million copies. Now we're gonna go on to We Are Villains, and I am really excited to see how like this storytelling is about, and like I don't know if it has suspense or what, but I know it's like a thriller mystery type of book, so I'm really excited. I will get back to you when I figure out what this book is about. I got to scene 12. I am almost on act 2. This entire time I didn't know it was like theater college, but it does say it on the back of the book. I finally like reread like the description of the back of the book, because I didn't know. I was like, wow, they're like a theater major. This like, it took me to like a curveball, because I was not expecting it to theater major thriller. It was like, what? Okay, I did not expect that. I thought it was something else. The first chapter, you automatically meet Oliver in jail, and I forgot his name, but he's like mentioned once in the beginning. He was the sheriff, the lead detective, something with this case that Oliver was in, and he came in to like go visit him like before like he like was free from jail. Like they finally like honored his like freedom, and he was like, guess what, I'm not a detective anymore, I am a private investigator. And Oliver was just kind of like, why should I care? And he was just like, well, I'm not in the police force anymore. You can tell me what actually happened the night 10 years ago. And he was like, no. And he was like, come on, like it's been 10 years, like I'm out of it, like the police force, like you can tell me like what's going on. And he was just like, he was gonna say no again, but then he was like, okay, I will tell you, once I get out of jail, you cannot put this against me. You can't do anything about it anymore. And this is just a friendly tell. And he was like, deal. I'm on scene 12. I am literally on the last one of Act 1. I have 13 minutes left, but basically they got like a play, like a Halloween play, and it was kind of for like, I guess, third years. I know it's for sure fourth years, but not so sure for third. I think it's for third years too. And they get like this mystery like play and like the script, and no one else is supposed to know. So when the play actually happens, it's kind of like a mystery to them, like it was the audience. But yeah, I just been through this whole act of, I don't know what it was. I really don't. I could probably look it up and it'll probably tell me, but I don't know. It was like a whole Halloween play, and now like halfway through that like chapter, now they're just getting drunk, and now they're playing what is it called, like chicken. It's like when someone's on your shoulder and they're like playing chicken. Yeah, they're playing chicken right now. But yeah, that is all I've gotten off of this book so far, and it's actually, I really enjoy it. It's different than like any book that so far I have read, and that's what's so eye-catching to me. If you're thinking about reading this book, I would try Audible, because when you like read it, you can't really tell to me, you can't really tell the difference between like what's them like just talking versus acting, and it's like a lot like going on in this book. It's nice to have an audiobook where you can like tell the difference between like what's them acting or play acting or learning their lines versus just them being just characters. It's nice to have like something to listen to and kind of be like, oh, they're like, you know, learning to play, oh, they're in the place. It's nice. It's nice to kind of tell the difference. But yeah, that is all I have gotten so far off this book, and so far so good, and I really enjoy it, and I'm so excited for whatever twist that has at the end of this book. So I am on Act 4, Scene 3, so I am like almost done with this. I am on 74% of this book. I'm like in the midst of Scene 3, but so far so good. I have been really enjoying this book. I knew it was a telling of what happened that night. I knew that, but just like the way he tells it, the like they're in like acting school as a group of friends, and he just tells you like from start to finish basically kind of like what happens. And I knew there was gonna be like something that happened, because obviously like he went to jail for it. I thought they hid his body. I thought they did something along those lines of like, oh shit, like we did something wrong. But no, he drowned, and that person was Richard. And I knew something was gonna happen to Richard when I was like reading this. I'm like, Richard has to be the victim. Like he has to be the person that just kind of floats away basically. But he was also a dick, like a dick to everyone, and there's like a lot to him being a dick. It's cool to see the detective from where like him and Oliver are, because they're literally like at his old college, like of him telling the story. And it's also cool to kind of see the detective like working on the case when he's like talking about it. So it's cool to see like the past and the present of it. Like it's really cool, because the prologue is the present and then the scenes are the past. So it's cool to see like both like ways, because when you're like hearing this story, you're kind of thinking like, huh, I wonder what the detective thinks about it. Like I wonder how this storytelling kind of like brings it like full circle, and the prologue like really does that for you, in my opinion, because you get the past, and then the prologue it continues on with it, and you're like, oh, okay, and then it goes back to like the storytelling. But my question is, how and why did Oliver get arrested? Because I haven't gotten to that part yet, because he said that Christmas is when like everything kind of like went like to shit basically. But and then it continued back to the like the story of Christmas break. or after Christmas break. But yeah, I'm confused how and why Oliver went to jail and how no one else went to jail for it. Like just Oliver. And that confuses the crap out of me. I swear I feel like the last like 100, 150 pages is just gonna like info dump like what happened. I don't know. I think Oliver is innocent. This is my like conspiracy. I think James or Alexander did something to make Richard fall into the water and die because there was like head trauma, and Oliver, being the sweet old boy he is, took the blame for it. That's what I think what happens. Okay, I could be wrong, and maybe Oliver is actually guilty and he did something, but I feel like it's either James or Alexander that did something. The timeline doesn't add up because Oliver and Meredith, they were hooking up and they were like in the room the entire night, so it couldn't be him. That's what's confusing me, is because Oliver was with Meredith in her room that entire night, and he woke up around, I guess I want to say like 5, 6, whatever, to go back into his room for a second to like, I guess like freshen up, and then he went back into Meredith's room. So during that time frame, he wasn't out in the woods, he wasn't out of the castle or like the housing. So how did he get blamed? But yeah, that's what I've gotten so far. It's really good. If I recommend between like The Silent Patient or this book, I'm leaning more towards If We Were Villains. It's just, I don't know, it's really good. The storytelling's good. How Oliver like explains the storytelling, it's good. It was released in 2017. Dang, yeah. Your girl is not reading a book in 2017, that's for sure. Okay, I'll come back. I'll come back and give you guys my final update when I finish this book. I look a little crazy, but just ignore it. I took a shower. I finished If We Were Villains last night, and I was going to film this video yesterday, but I fell asleep. Things happen. This book to me was a 4.75. It's not a full 5-star for like different reasons, but I'll get into that when I talk about it. I completely knew it. The fact that I either said it was James or Alexander that killed Richard, y'all, it was James. Oh my god. So apparently Alexander just had a drug issue. My thing going into this was like, okay, I kind of like know like who did it, but like how did it happen was like my thing, because he fell into the water, because we knew we were like, they were by the lake, but like how did it happen? And it explained the whole thing, James' guilt, everything. Oh my god, the fact that he says her name so much better than I can ever say her name. Philippa, she knew this entire time. She was basically kind of there when it happened, and she kept her mouth shut this entire time, didn't freak out, didn't do anything. She was just kind of like, okay, he's dead, move on, let's go. But I think James kind of had a harder time coping with it, because he's the one that actually, did it, and he felt guilt. Philippa, she knew. And I like that she was the one that picked up Oliver from jail. I think that was kind of like a nice thing. And the fact that they stayed like all day. It was like a 24-hour like tell at this campus. Like they stayed like all the way till like sunrise for him to like tell the story to the detective. Colburn. Finally know his name, Colburn. The storytelling, how Oliver tells it, the fact that he went to jail for James was kind of like an oh my god type of thing. And the fact that his friends knew that he would do that for James, or like at least for like one of them, they didn't want to tell him until like I guess the last minute. It was just like the way it told from the past to the present, it was just so good. But yeah, if you have not read If We Were Villains, this is honestly such a good book. And then The Silent Patient is also a good book, so 4.75, both amazing, both similar but different in in a unique way, and I really enjoyed both of them. And that is the end of this video. I honestly really enjoyed both of them, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Like, subscribe, comment, and let me know if you read both of them or going to read both of them, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.